So first, I'd like to welcome everybody to Expanding Visions 30. This is the 30th year that I've been teaching this class in this way. It's a combination of a class on seeing, a class that includes field trips and assignments and review sessions. Tonight is the introductory session. Because I can't share my screen at this point on the road with my laptop, etc. If you have the class notes which was sent and you open them, you can follow, and that might be the best way to do it. Or if you printed them out, you can certainly read them as we're going through. We'll just be going through the class notes and what the story is for the class and the different assignments. For those of you who don't know, my name is Chuck Pine. I'm the president of Park West Camera Club, as well as the instructor for Expanding Visions. I started the class 30 years ago, and it's been going strong even through COVID. Okay, the class sessions are all on Thursday evenings. We have 4 Zoom sessions. That's tonight, which is the introduction. And we have 3 review sessions. The first review is on Thursday, May 30th. The second review is on June 20th. And the final review is on June 27th. If you look at the class notes, page 2 of the class notes lists all of the weeks of the class and what the assignments are and everything else.
Excuse me, Chuck, would
Yes.
you mind to give, when you change pages, to give the page number so I can coordinate it?
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So I'm still on page 1, talking about the class. And I guess that's everything. The assignments, there are 4 assignments plus a term project. So we'll now go to page 2, and you can see a week by week description of what we'll be doing. For example, next week on May 16th, that's trip 1, and we'll be going to Herald Square. The name of the assignment is Little Shop of Horrors. You'll get my sense of humor eventually. The meeting spot is at 6th Avenue and 34th Street at 6:30 p.m. Okay.
So what corner of 34th Street?
Well, we'll get to that when we go over the specifics of the assignment.
Okay.
So I'm listing all of the assignments. And if you scroll down to the middle of the page where it says weekly assignments, it explains what the assignments are. For example, Little Shop of Horrors will be shooting reflections in store windows, combining what's inside the store with what's outside being reflected. So, and there are the 4 assignments that we'll be meeting to shoot together. And then there's the term project, which you will do by yourselves wherever you want. Now, I know that some of you are not in the city all the time. Some of you have other things to do on some Thursday nights and can't make the assignments and the field trips. All of the assignments, all of the field trips can be done anywhere, anytime. So if you can't make it next week to Herald Square, you can go any other day to Herald Square and do the assignment, or you can do it in your own neighborhood or wherever you happen to be, whatever city, town, country, you name it. And then when we get together for the review sessions, you can share your images as well. Okay, so let's move on to page 3. where it says reflections, class notes, basic equipment. So a lot of this used to be done, the classes were all for single lens reflex cameras and various types of film and whatever. Nowadays, we've graduated, we don't use film anymore. If you want to shoot with film and then scan your images into projectable or files, digital files, you can do that. But you can use digital SLRs, you can use mirrorless cameras, you can use bridge cameras, point and shoot cameras, your cell phones, your iPads, whatever. Okay. On to,
I have a question. Do you
okay.
think that we'll need neutral density filters?
For some assignments, you might, and or polarizing filters. I'll get to that on the next page, I
Oh,
believe.
okay. Okay.
Okay, page 4 now. So zoom lenses are not required, but they will give you more freedom in composing your image. Prime lenses or non-zoom lenses will work as well for all the techniques that we're going to be using. Most cameras that aren't, was there a question there?
No.
Oh, okay. Most cameras have zoom lenses these days. Even your smartphones have different lenses, some of them zooming, or you can do a digital zoom, whatever you want. The next item of equipment is a tripod. They do come in handy when you're shooting, especially at night, so you don't have to hold your camera all the time. You can use a tripod. Not all of the assignments or all of the destinations will be good for tripods. We'll explain that when we get to each of the assignments because of the traffic, people traffic, car traffic, whatever. If you are going to bring a tripod and use it, you should have some type of remote shutter release, either a cable release or an infrared release, so that you're not poking at the camera and moving it while you're trying to take the picture. You want to keep the camera steady. Okay, next item is the polarizing filter. Polarizing filters attach to the front of your lens. Most of them screw right in. Some of them have filter holders that drop into the front of the camera. They are used to control reflections. And since that's what this class is all about, you might find it helpful to have a polarizing filter. If you don't have one already, you just make sure that the polarizing filter you get that screws into the front of the lens is the same size as the filter thread on the front of your lens. You just go to any camera store with your camera and lens, and they can get the right filter for you. And using it is very simple. You just twist it, and it adjusts and changes the reflections. Okay.
I have a quick question. Can
Yep.
I interrupt?
Sure.
So if I'm using a cell phone, does any of this apply? Whereas I know it would apply to a single reflex camera.
If you're using a what camera?
I know what you're talking about applies to a single reflex camera, regular old-fashioned camera. But if I'm using my cell phone, does any of this apply?
You might want to check with a big camera store like B&H. They do have accessory filters and lenses and things. If you can't get it, don't worry
cell
about it.
phones?
Yes,
Cell
they have.
Yeah,
No,
they
they
have.
have filter for camera phones. If you have iPhone, they have filters. I use an IR filter for my on my phone. And I also use a polarizer and a neutral density. If you buy an adapter, you could use your filters.
Okay, but if you
So
don't,
just-
if you don't want to go out and buy new equipment, don't. I mean, you'll be fine. Everything will work. And you won't have a problem with the class. It just gives you more capabilities if you have a polarizing filter and you're shooting reflections.
Right.
Okay. Now, a lot of times, people take pictures and then they do what's called post-processing. They use software on their computer or their iPhone or whatever, or even online, to adjust and change the images they take. You can certainly do that in this class. Okay. Next, we have a page where you can write notes. And then we come to page 6, camera settings. There are 5 major camera modes or settings you can control on your camera. And I go through all 5 of them. The first one is the exposure mode. Sometimes it's called the shooting mode. And you can set it to things like program mode or automatic or aperture priority or shutter priority or manual. And you're probably familiar with all of those. You might not have all of those on your cell phone, for example. However, if you have different programs, software programs, applications on your phone, they give you control over all of these things as well. So then there's a focusing mode, which tells your camera what to focus on, whether it's in the center, whether it's the whole, everything that's in the frame, or nothing at all, and you manually focus it. I'm not going to go through all 5 of these. You can read about them. If you have questions, you can always contact me. So starting on page 7, we have the weekly assignments. Okay. First one, trip 1 on May 16th is the Little Shop of Horrors. The first thing I tell you is the meeting space, Herald Square, where it's located, what trains or buses you can take to get there, and then exactly where we'll be meeting. The last sentence, we'll meet on the northwest corner of 34th Street and 6th Avenue at Macy's. Try to arrive by 6:30 p.m. Okay? For those of you who are late, we won't start the lesson for 15 minutes. So at 6:45, we'll be hanging around, chatting, talking, whatever. People can go and take pictures if they wish. And then at 6:45, I'll go over the lesson, exactly what's expected of you and how you can do it and where you're going to walk and all of that sort of stuff. For example, on this assignment, we'll start walking around Herald Square at about 7 p.m. We'll then walk west on 34th Street towards 7th Avenue. You can walk on either side of 34th Street or cross back and forth if you wish. And we'll end our walk at the northeast corner of 34th Street and 7th Avenue. And that's at about 7:45 p.m. So you'll have at least 45 minutes for shooting. If you're a little bit late, that's okay. We'll hang around. We'll discuss what went on. Now, I don't know if you can see it because I'm not sharing my screen, but I have a red baseball cap. It's all red, except it has the
I see.
logo of a camera. Can you
Mhm.
see this?
Yes,
Yes.
very clear, Chuck.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the hat that I'll be wearing for all of the
Very
field trip.
handsome.
Very
Thank you.
dapper.
If you can't, if you're not sure, you can find me with the hat. Or just look for a group of 20 or more people with cameras.
Chuck, I have a question.
Yes.
You picked the time 6:30. I have a concern about the lighting. How would that affect my pictures?
Well, for this assignment, everything is in the windows or reflected in the windows. I don't think it'll be that bad. It's going to be light until at least 7:30 on these nights.
Okay,
So it
so I don't
shouldn't be a
need no
problem.
flash or anything.
No, you won't need flash.
Okay.
Chuck? I just wanted to add that, you know, there's a likelihood that there could be a lot of sidewalk bridges with lighting on it because of facade work. So that might make up for any shadows or anything that are going on. So so besides natural lighting, there might be some, you know, some sidewalk
Yeah,
bridge lighting too.
there'll be
Yeah.
plenty of light,
yeah.
artificial, natural, whatever. Just
Okay.
don't use a flash because then you'll just be getting the flash in the windows,
Right, yeah.
not seeing
Okay.
anything else.
Okay.
Okay, so the assignment synopsis will be shooting reflections in store windows, combining what's inside with what's outside. We already went over the equipment. The area, 34th Street, at this time could be crowded, so using a tripod is iffy. If you do decide to bring a tripod, set it up not in the middle of the sidewalk or the middle of the street where you're going to disrupt traffic or people are going to trip on it or whatever. If you feel comfortable using a monopod instead of a tripod, you can use that as well. Okay, and this is early May, so you might want to dress for the occasion. A sweater or a light jacket, maybe. You might want to get down low to get a better angle on certain things. So you might think about what you're wearing. Let's see, what else do I want to say about that?
Sweet.
Okay,
Sturdy shoes.
yeah, sturdy shoes, although for the most part, I've always worn my sandals.
Oh,
Uh,
oh boy.
I can't do that anymore. Okay, if it's raining, this is a judgment call. If it's raining hard, don't come. If it's a light drizzle, it might stop by the time you get there. We might still be shooting. So think twice about coming if it's raining at all. And remember, if you don't go to the meetup for the assignment, you can go there any other day and shoot it. You can shoot it any other place, any other time you want. So, all right. What? Especially for days? Oh, yeah, well, Dave isn't gonna come join us from Scotland. I know.
Sorry.
Okay,
Why
so-
not, Dave?
yeah,
Yeah, really. That's so lame, Dave.
I'm still getting over jet lag now.
so the media, as I said, shooting digitally is the way to go. You can set your camera to its lowest ISO setting, which is usually 100 or 200. And if it gets darker, you can raise it or not and shoot at the lower setting. Or if you want to shoot it at a much higher setting, you certainly can. Cameras from the last few years handle digital noise very well. And there's certainly software that can eliminate any noise that your camera records. So don't let that stop you from shooting. So now we're on page 8 and describe the technique. They're quite simple. You look for reflections in store windows. Be sure to use all of the techniques and the tricks that you know to make interesting, creative, and visually stimulating, properly exposed, and technically correct images. Think about the rule of thirds, think about leading lines. We're looking for reflections in the windows. Could be only the reflection in the window, what's reflected in the window plus what's inside the window to any varying degrees. Remember the number one rule of photography, no matter where you're standing to take the picture, it's the wrong spot. So move around, get closer, move further away, move up, get lower down, move left, move right. Just keep moving, different angles, different distances, taking pictures. This is digital. You can always look at the back of the camera and see if it's working or not, if you like it or not. But move around and take more and more pictures. That's the best thing to do. If you have a camera that has interchangeable lenses, change the lenses as you're shooting. If you have a zoom, you can certainly zoom while you're shooting different images to give different effects. Okay. That is assignment 1. Any questions on that at this point?
Nope.
Okay.
It's
It's
very
fairly
clear.
fairly simple technique. We're shooting reflections. Okay, we now move to page 9. This is trip number 2 on May 23rd. It's called the Fast and Furious. We'll be meeting on the Upper West Side. We'll meet in the middle of Broadway on the south side of 96th Street in front of the subway entrance at 6:30 p.m. You can take the number 1, 2, or 3 train right there and go upstairs at 96th Street. And you can take the elevator or the stairs, and that's where we'll be meeting. If you want to take the B or C train, that's on 96th Street and Central Park West, you have to walk the 3 long blocks to Broadway. The M104 bus stops right there on the corner, drops you off on 96th Street. Other West Side buses include the M5, the M7, 11, and 10. They all have 96th Street stops, and they require a short walk to Broadway and 96th Street.
Are you meeting on the east or the west side of Broadway?
We'll meet in the middle of Broadway,
So,
the south
the
side of
island?
96th
On the
Street.
island?
yes.
Yes,
Okay.
right in front of the subway entrance. For the latecomers, again, we'll wait for 15 minutes. I'll then start discussing the assignment, answer all your questions. And then around 7 o'clock, we'll start wandering around the area, shooting as you go. You can walk in any direction that you want. Just return to the starting point at about 7:45 or shortly thereafter. The assignment, The Fast and the Furious, was a series of movies about racing, about cars, guys who drive fast. We'll be shooting reflections in cars, trucks, buses, any other vehicles, any surface on those vehicles, windows, polished metal, the mirrors even on the cars and trucks and buses. Usually the easiest ones to shoot are the ones that are parked or stopped at lights. But if you want to shoot moving vehicles, you can get some great effects doing that as well. So that's another option you have for this assignment. It's the basic equipment we had before. You can bring a tripod. It's not as crowded as it will be downtown. Although hand-holding is not a problem, especially when the vehicles aren't moving. And don't forget the polarizing filter, if you have one, to control the reflections.
I have a quick
Yes.
question. In terms
Yes.
of the meeting place at 96th Street, it's the meeting place that has the benches and chairs there, right?
It's the entrance to the subway.
Well, there are 2
96th
entrances, but,
Street.
right.
No, the north side of the island is
That's
where
the south side.
that art
I got it.
center is. So this is on the south side. Yes, there are benches
Right.
there.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Okay? The technique, quite simple again. You're looking for reflections in cars, trucks, buses, motorcycles, or other vehicles. Metallic surfaces, glass surfaces, flat surfaces, curved surfaces. You can get some fantastic, weird-looking effects photographing all of these. The mirrors on the vehicles, the hubcaps on the wheels, everything. Just be sure to stay safe. If you're shooting a parked car, you can shoot it from the sidewalk. If you want to get different reflections, you might have to stand in the street to shoot it. But just be careful because there is traffic on Broadway. If you go on any of the side streets, that'll work too. And there's less traffic for the most part. Okay. Of course, as you go through the notes, I do have some images that you might find interesting, give you ideas on what to do. Okay, page 10 gives you more space for notes if you want to write any down or take any. We come to page 11. Page 11 is trip number, well, we skipped a week.
3.
Let me go back. June, I guess it's 30th, is our first session for reviewing images. June 30th.
May
May
30th.
May
30th.
30th, May 30th, right. You are allowed to submit up to 5 images from each of the first 2 assignments. That's the reflections in store windows and reflections in vehicles. 5 images each. You send them to the email address that I will send to you a few days or a week before, probably that weekend before the meeting, repeating all these rules. The last page of these class notes, by the way, are how to prepare your images for emailing them, what sizes, what types of images, etc. So that's up to 10 images, 5 from each assignment, to be reviewed by the class. We'll go over all of the ones that are submitted. I'll figure out how long we have to spend on each person's images, and we'll take it from there. We'll talk about basically how you accomplished the assignment and a few minor comments on exposure or other things that you did right or did wrong, so that it's a total learning experience. Okay?
I do have one question.
Okay?
This is Sally. So in terms of the sizing, Marlene and I were together today and I would shoot with my phone, and I don't know how to change the image, the sizing on that. I mean, I know how to make it smaller or larger, vertical or horizontal, but I don't know how to do what you're asking.
Do you have an iPhone or some other brand?
Yes, iPhone.
Do you have any software that comes with the phone, any camera software?
There's editing software that I use that came with the phone. It's an
Okay,
old
so
phone.
it's an old phone.
Yeah.
Well, you should be able to adjust the size. If not, just send it the way it comes out of the camera and we'll take care of it.
Excuse me,
Okay.
Chuck.
Yes.
On the, I have an Apple, and when a photo is on the, like the first screen, whatever you call it, you go into preview and you can resize it there.
On
Both
phone, on your iPhone?
you can use an iPhone, you can use any image, whether it's an iPhone image, you put it into your computer and it's on the first page, and
Right.
if Bonnie has, or anybody has an Apple computer, you go into what they call preview, and you have
Uh-huh.
all kinds of opportunities to work on it right there, right on the front, the main
Yes, but
front
if you only
screen.
have an iPhone and you don't have a computer that
Oh,
you
well,
use-
that, yes, of
Yeah,
course,
but people, this is one of the minor things that we have to deal with. uh, get the images and send them in. That's
All
that's
of
the
you.
bottom line. Okay. Okay. Trip number 3, June 6th. Alice through the Looking Glass. I guess you can figure out what that is. We'll be meeting at Times Square. Just about every north-south train or bus in Manhattan goes across 42nd Street. Walk east or west to Times Square. We'll be waiting on the north side of West 42nd Street between Broadway and 7th Avenue. I think there used to be a drugstore there. Was it Walgreens or something maybe? We'll meet at 6:30. There's no problem if you're late. We'll wait till 6:45 and then discuss the assignment. And then we're off around 7 o'clock. We'll walk west along 42nd Street. So if you're late and you missed us on that corner, you can catch up with us on 42nd Street. We'll be walking from 7th Avenue all the way over to 8th Avenue.
I'm sorry, I was going through papers and whatnot. So we're meeting on the northwest side of 42nd Street and Broadway, or the south side or the east side? Which
Okay,
side?
where Times Square starts on the north side of 42nd Street between Broadway and 7th Avenue.
You're gonna give everybody your phone number,
Okay. At the end of this session tonight, I'll give out my phone number so that you can all call me if you get lost, if you need anything. I'll give you my email address so that people can find me.
Who's bringing the bread?
The breadcrumbs, Hansel or Gretel, I don't know. Okay, so we'll walk around Times Square and then we'll walk west along 42nd Street to 8th Avenue. And at about 7:45 or so, we'll meet at the northeast corner of 42nd Street and 8th Avenue. I think there's a restaurant on the corner. It used to be a fast food type place. Anyway, northeast corner. So the assignment here will be shooting reflections in mirrors, either ones we find as we walk around the Times Square area, or you can bring a mirror, a pocket mirror, a hand mirror, a bathroom mirror that has a handle on it or whatever. And then you can hold it up and shoot the reflection in the mirror. You can work with a buddy system, and your buddy can hold up the mirror and you shoot the reflection. You can go into some stores and they all have mirrors in the corners or something so they can see around who's shoplifting or whatever. Just don't make it too obvious that you're photographing in the store, because sometimes the security guards don't want you to do that. Just tell them you're in a class, then you're taking pictures of mirrors, and that shouldn't be a problem. Okay. So we know about all the equipment that we're going to use. Because we're going to be on 42nd Street, you don't want to have a tripod with you. It's way too crowded. So leave it at home. If
And you
you're
don't want to be carrying a pocketbook either.
yeah. If you're in a store, you don't want to be setting up a tripod. Just be mindful of other people, and you should be fine with the equipment. So the technique, there are basically two methods. First one, as I said, is look for mirrors on the street or in stores. Flat mirrors, curved mirrors are all fine and dandy for these assignments. The second method is to bring your own mirror or share a mirror with someone else in the group. You can ask them to hold the mirror, and you shoot what's in the mirror. You can walk up to somebody on the street and say, "Hi, I'm in a photography class. Can you hold this mirror and I'll shoot you your reflection in it?" You know, just hope they don't run off with your mirror. Don't bring the gold plated ones. Um, okay. So those are the mirror things. You also have car mirrors, which we'll see along 42nd Street and on the side street. So wherever you're shooting. Okay, so then that's page 12, has more room for notes and some more pictures. And now we come to page 13. Trip number 4 on June 15th. And this is called Here's Looking at You, Kid. And we're meeting at Columbus Circle. Here's Looking at You, Kid. Where does that come from? Anybody know?
Humphrey Bogart.
Casablanca.
Humphrey Bogart.
Right, okay. So we'll meet Casablanca, yeah. So we're meeting at Columbus Circle. The west side of Columbus Circle, at the south end of that building, the shops at Columbus Circle. It's where 8th Avenue begins. And we're meeting at 6:30. There's a whole bunch of subway trains and buses that stop right there at Columbus Circle. So you should know how to get there. If you can't make it, you can do the assignment at the same place any other time or in your neighborhood whenever you want, wherever you want. So for the latecomers, we'll wait again until about 6:45. We'll then discuss the assignment. And at about 7, we'll begin walking around the area looking for reflections. The reflections we're shooting are in polished surfaces, such as wood, stone, plastic, and anything else you find along the way. Not necessarily cars, store windows, or mirrors, since we've done those. But if you find something that's just breathtaking and you've got to photograph that reflection, that's fine. Just remember that a reflection is not necessarily a perfect image of what you've seen. It could just be the light reflecting off a surface, giving it a hot spot or something like that. If you want, you can get up close and photograph somebody's eyes, for example. Great reflections in eyes. Okay. So you know the equipment that you want to use. The tripod is not too bad in Columbus Circle, unless it's at the holiday season, but this isn't it. The technique, again, very simple. Looking for reflections in surfaces, any reflective surface. Okay. All right. Next, we're on to page 15. Oh, I'm sorry. The trip number 4, assignment 4, June 15th. The week following that is June 22nd. Yes? 15 and 7 is 22. Okay. We'll have a second assignment night, a review session, but images only from trips number 3 and 4. Okay, trip number 3 was the mirrors, and trip number 4 is polished surfaces. Only images from those 2 assignments at that second review session. Again, I'll send all the information out, give you time to send your images in. Maximum of 5 images from each of those 2 assignments. Okay. The next thing, and this is on page 15, is the term project. And it's titled Water, Water Everywhere. The term project may be shot wherever and whenever you would like. It can be shot while you're on any of the other trips. It can be shot in your own neighborhood. It can be shot on a trip you take just for this purpose. It can be accomplished anywhere. The assignment is shooting reflections in bodies of water. You can go to the river. You can find a lake or a pond. You can photograph puddles of water with reflections in it. You can have a bowl of water on the table and shoot reflections in it. Anywhere you find water, anywhere you see a reflection in the water, any time of day or night. Okay? Equipment, whatever you want to use. You can certainly use a tripod if you wish, depending upon where you are. If you photograph a puddle in the middle of Broadway, I don't think standing there with a tripod is the right thing to do. You can use a polarizer if you wish. You can take a boat into the middle of Central Park Lake and photograph the waters there. Anything you want. It's all up to you. So, the next and final review session will be on the 29th of June. And that's for the term project, up to 5 images. And if you missed any of the other review sessions and you want to show images, no more than 10 images from any of those assignments, no more than 5 from any one. But if you missed all 4 reviews, both of the review sessions with all 4 assignments, no more than 10 images at the final review. So it gives you a chance to make up what you missed, and it gives you a chance to see everybody else's images as well. Okay. On the last page, or next to the last page, page 17, we talk about preparing a digital image, getting the image ready, resizing the image, sharpening the image, saving the image, etc. You all should know how to do this from entering images in competitions, in theme nights, and anything else. If you're new to the club and you haven't entered images, this goes through it step by step. If you have any trouble, you can always contact me and we'll figure it out together. So if everybody has a pen or pencil and a piece of paper, here we go. My phone number is 646-549-0187. Repeating, 646-549-0187. That's my cell phone. We no longer have a house phone. So if you want to get me, that's the only way to call. You can call or you can text. I respond to both. Might not be immediately, but I will respond. If you need to email me for any reason, or if you want to email your images for the review sessions, my personal email is BOHPIN. That's boy, Oscar, Harry, Peter, idiot, Nancy at AOL.com. BOHPIN at AOL.com. If you're sending images for the review sessions, you send it to PWCC-NY. That's PWCC, stands for Park West Camera Club. NY stands for New York, at AOL.com. PWCC-NY at AOL.com. If you wish, you can send them to PWCCNY at gmail.com.
No.
So it's PWCCNY at either AOL.com or gmail.com.
I have a quick question, Chuck.
Yes,
Christine, how many images do we submit for the term project? Is it 10 or 5?
the term project is 5.
Okay.
Each of the assignments is 5. But on any given night, it's 10 images. Everything will be written out and repeated over and over again before each assignment is due. Okay? Any other questions about anything we've gone over tonight?
Yes, I have two questions actually.
Okay, Soren.
I have a couple of friends of mine who might be interested to join the club. And I don't know when they want to do it, and I mean, I don't know details, but I would like to ask, so I'm prepared to answer their questions. This video we are taping tonight, we're videoing tonight. Is it going to be available for everybody or just for the club members?
Should be available for everybody.
Okay, so maybe you could send a shortcut to the location of it, or
Well, it's on the website.
it's okay, yeah, but okay, I'll look for it. And number one question: if somebody wants to take only these assignments without participating to, I'm sorry, to the class, how much? What's the cost of it for just the summer?
Just going to the 4 assignments
Yes.
and not the review sessions?
Well, maybe I don't know. Yeah, I guess the whole thing.
Okay, it's $10 a night.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but if you go to all 7 class sessions, that's $70. You can
Okay.
join the club for $50 and get the class for free,
Yes.
and then have a full year of membership for.
Well, at the
included.
end, now we are at the end, so that won't be valid for
Next
this.
year.
No, it'll be good for next year.
Oh, it'll be good for next year. Oh, okay.
Yes,
All right. Thank you.
okay.
Yeah,
Any
thank
other
you.
questions or comments about anything we discussed tonight or anything we didn't discuss tonight? Okay, by the way, if you have your class notes, if you look at page 11, that's me reflected in a mirror, and I'm wearing the hat that I'll be wearing for all the field trips. It isn't that
Right.
funny. Come on. Okay, any questions? Everybody understand
Yeah.
everything?
When was that taken, Chuck?
When was that taken? I don't know.
Wasn't yesterday.
No, it wasn't yesterday. It
I'm
was
trying
on
to figure it out.
It was on a field trip. I think it was for the a previous session of Expanding Visions near Lincoln Center, I believe.
I've been trying to figure out approximately what year.
I don't know. Offhand. It was before COVID. Okay.
I do have a question, and I'm so sorry to be dense about this,
No,
but on
look, I forgot to mention at the beginning, I usually do this. I don't know why I forgot. The only dumb question is the one you don't ask. Because I can guarantee it, if you're going to ask it, a lot of other people want to ask it too. And then they just didn't have the gumption to do it. So go ahead with your question.
Okay, so when we meet on June 6th, right, this third one, it's
Yes,
the north side of West 42nd Street and Broadway, but which corner of 42nd Street and Broadway? There are 4 northwest, east, and south. So it's the
no, there's more
northeast.
than that. There's more than that. 6th
Okay.
Avenue, let's see, 7th Avenue and Broadway are interrupted there by Times Square. Between 6th and 7th Avenue, there's a block that's maybe 2 stores, 1 or 2 store lengths wide,
Right.
and it's on the north side of 42nd Street. On the other side is that big subway station entrance that has all the different numbers and letters on it.
By Bryant Park, you mean? No,
No,
that's,
No,
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 no.
no, I think
I'll
it's
fi-
near the bus,
out.
is it by the bus terminal?
no.
No, it's a block east of the bus terminal. It's a block west of Bryant Park.
Okay,
Seventh,
for the
it's where
entrance to
Seventh
H&M.
and Broadway cross.
If you're a
the
more
heart of
visual
Times
person,
Square.
if you're a more visual person, just Google or look up a map of Times Square at 42nd Street, and you'll be able to see what Chuck is talking about. It becomes clearer.
It's right
Okay.
by the entrance to
Okay,
H&M.
if you get to the corner or anywhere and you don't see me, give me a phone call. I'll direct
Right.
you. It's right
Oh,
across
and
the
that red
street.
hat.
It's right across the street from, I guess, the New York Times building.
He has it, right?
Okay.
No, the New York Times building
No,
has
that's Port
moved.
Authority.
Yeah,
That's another
that's
block
at Port
away.
Authority, yeah.
That's across from Port Authority.
Yeah. No, this is where the new entrance to the subway is, opposite. I know the subway you're talking about,
Right.
Chuck, that has all the numbers on it.
Yeah,
Right across the street from that, there's a new entrance to the subway right there. So,
There's a lot of construction right there too.
yeah,
It's right next to the H&M building.
yep.
you'll see the
Yes.
red hat, don't worry.
Does
All right, well, I made
anybody,
it back
And
from
a bunch of
Silas,
people with
that's good.
cameras looking
Yeah.
around. Yeah.
Yeah, hundreds of
Can't get
cameras.
lost.
Any other questions, folks?
does anybody know when the congestion pricing goes into effect?
No idea.
sometime
Beginning
in
of June.
June.
Beginning
In
of
June,
June,
so-
if
If
lawsuits
it's
don't
not held
prevail.
up, there are suits pending.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Okay. Anything else, folks?
It's very thorough.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you
Okay.
very much.
Your patient, Chuck.
Very good class. Thank you.
Okay, folks, thank you
Thanks,
very
Chuck.
much.
you.
Safe
Thanks,
travels.
Chuck.
Thank you.